Unity is the theme of my remarks today. The USTA's battle-tested business model is working well. It is our best hope for dealing with problems that we will have to solve. A few of these problems threaten to end us as an industry, returning us to the status of a hobby. To work well, our business model requires us to strive for unity. Debate is necessary, differing views are welcome, but when a decision has been made, we must work together to carry it out. Let me describe our business model in historical terms. The original charter of our organization listed a number of different purposes, ending with the improvement and betterment of the harness racing industry generally. Harness racing consisted of scattered racing associations, each with its own set of rules. The USTA's organizers understood that unity within our sport was necessary if we hoped to make progress of any kind. In fact, the original name of our organization was the United Trotting Association. Only after almost 2 decades was the name changed to United States Trotting Association. We gathered all the rules of the separate racing associations, selected the best ones, and the result was the first set of model rules intended to govern horse racing nationally. Our work on the USTA's model rules continues to this day. Even though our rules can't be enforced in the states apart from racing at the fairs, this is one of the most important things we do for 2 reasons. First, the state regulators do look at our rules, and our rules do influence them. Second, and more importantly, model rulemaking involves identifying best practices. The work of gathering possible solutions, finding the best practices, and publishing them to the industry is our basic business model for addressing industry needs. Change is the only constant, and not long after we got started, a serious problem came up. Wallace's Register and Yearbook went out of business. This led to a new enterprise for us, record keeping, not rulemaking. But the USTA picked up the lines and never looked back. There's a period of years in the 1930s when Wallace's had gone out of business and the USTA had not yet started publishing our yearbook. During those years, Hoofbeats was the industry's only centralized source of racing data. The USTA is only a couple of years older than pari-mutuel wagering on horse racing in the United States. Pari-mutuel wagering represented a major change to our business climate when it quickly made horse racing a multi-million-dollar industry. To adapt to this change, we had to up our data management game significantly and develop centralized processes for making the data available at the tracks. For serious horse players, there's no such thing as too much data. For example, this is why we're looking at adding things like wind speed and wind direction to the program. Today, the USTA possesses world-class data management capabilities. Granted, we operate on a small scale compared to other industries, but if our board of directors wants it and the funding is available, we can do anything that other industry associations can do. Our power over data has important implications for harness racing beyond the needs of our horse players. I will mention 2. First, the sharing of data from all the individual tracks and the use of the resulting unified set of data by all the individual horsemen and breeders has fostered cooperation in our industry. We could not be an industry without an associational approach to our essential data. This was true in 1932, and it's true today. Second, by developing world-class information technology resources, the USTA can now operate both in the physical world and on the internet. If the future of harness racing is to present our content and gaming products more effectively on the internet, the USTA is ready to support that effort effectively. Pari-mutuel wagering itself underwent a major change when full-card simulcasting emerged. Importantly, full-card simulcasting established a new level of cooperation among the individual tracks. In fact, full-card simulcasting was an important unifying influence for the tracks. However, after 2008, casino gaming revenue replaced pari-mutuel handle as the most significant source of revenue industry-wide. Different states took different approaches, but in every case, it took unprecedented cooperation, unity, to hammer out a compact among state and local governments, casino gaming interests, tracks, horsemen, and breeders. The main thing I'm going to say about casino gaming revenue is something that we already know very well. What the legislature gives, the legislature can take away. Because of this, more of us spend time walking the halls of government than ever before. And shoe leather isn't the only thing being used up in the process. Money is what gets us in to see legislators and their staffers. The USTA staff, at the direction of this board, is actively involved in lobbying against the effort to federalize medication regulation. This leads to an important question. Would the USTA's business model of gathering various approaches, determining best practices at the association level, and sharing the results have important advantages for harness racing? Change is again on the horizon because our share of casino gaming revenue does not come from our customers. And the number of our customers is dropping. Can we find new customers and increase our customer base? Gaming entertainment operates on a spectrum from action-based at one end to decision-based on the other. Slot machines are the most prominent example of action-based gaming. Players seek the maximum number of chances to win the largest possible jackpot. Knowledge is not much of a factor, and the only decision is whether to play again. Action is the experience. Games like poker and chess, on the other hand, involve knowledge and careful decision-making, and the decisions made determine the results. Handicapping fits at this end of the gaming entertainment spectrum. Serious horse players enjoy accumulating knowledge about horses in the program and using it to make decisions that enable them to cash tickets. But other decision-based games have made it to the internet ahead of us. Handicapping has a limited presence on the internet, but so far, the harness racing industry has only managed to present the same product that people are not coming to see at the physical tracks. Even though online gamers and horse players enjoy similar forms of decision-based play, online gamers do not come to racetracks to seek recreation. They must be reached online and presented with racing-based products that will attract them. As an industry, we should determine the characteristics of these games that attract internet consumers and emulate those characteristics in new racing-based products that can be offered on the internet. That's where our future horse players and fans reside. To find them, we will have to use marketing. Let's think for a moment about the actual meaning of a recurrent controversy on the USTA Board of Directors. One of our members has attempted several times to get us to poll the membership about a national marketing survey, but we have not done so. I'm not saying that we should do so, but we should listen to an important message buried in this controversy. We need to fully shift from a product orientation to a marketing orientation. Maybe that's what this member is really telling us. The Zielinski Report explained marketing to us at least 10 years ago. Marketing is a philosophy and system for relating a business or organization to its environment, where the end consumer, not the product, is the central focus and the driving force. Marketing uses business strategies to determine what product to offer the consumer at each stage in the life of the business. In contrast, industries with a product orientation focus on the product, develop and refine the features of the product, and then try to sell the resulting product to the consumer. Harness racing continues to have a strong product orientation. Racing is our product, and racing is what our customers get. Product-oriented businesses use advertising and publicity to try to draw the consumer's attention to their product. Consumer-oriented businesses use things like surveys to find out what the consumer is actually looking for. Fortunately, the USTA's resistance to the idea of a survey leading to a marketing study comes from the fact that we're already past that point. Like harness racing in general, We used to spend our time on publicity and sponsorships, but now we are looking at our consumers and potential consumers using internet marketing tools. For example, Sprout, which Michael Carter talked about yesterday in Communications and Marketing. So this controversy actually isn't a controversy. We're in agreement. Asking for a survey is really asking for a change in orientation, and the USTA is making that change. Shifting to a marketing orientation fits well with our business model. For years, we've been identifying marketing practices that could benefit harness racing and looking at them at the association level. Whatever you may think of our Conversion experience, it was a tremendous shift in how we view our industry and its markets. Good progress is being made, but here I will pose another question. Should we do more? For example, given what we've learned in the past 10 years or so, would our members benefit if we developed a unified internet marketing strategy? Developing such a strategy may be necessary. There are technological challenges that can best be met cooperatively. Decisions being made at one track will be interconnected with decisions being made at other tracks, which suggests an associational approach. There is a matrix of contractual obligations that was designed for full card simulcasting and must now be reworked to allow our internet marketing to be effective. Ultimately, it will be up to our track members and their partners, the horsemen's associations, to achieve success. But does the USTA have a role to play as a center for planning a unified strategic effort that would attain these goals? Now I'm going to circle back to the United States Trotting Association as it exists today, nearly a century after its founding as the United Trotting Association. Unlike when I joined the board, we no longer have any directors who are older than the association itself. We now have a subcommittee charged with the responsibility of identifying and promoting the development of young people in the sport, and hopefully these young people will contribute to the work of the association. We have a board of 60 directors, which seems like a lot, but this board contains a wealth of talent and experience. We just have to maximize the benefit of all that talent, which will require working cooperatively. We are also considering bylaw changes that would modernize the self-governance of this board. These changes result from a comprehensive examination of best practices at other associations. Serving on the American Horse Council for some years has brought me into contact with other equine breed associations. They all do excellent work and are to be admired for it. However, the United States Trotting Association has the best staff of any of them. We should take extra confidence from that. I left undiscussed a couple of problems that could threaten the life of harness racing as an industry. If we don't solve those problems, we will probably go back to being an equestrian hobby as we were prior to 1932. But we're working on them. All we have to do is check our competitive tendencies at the front desk and cooperate in using the USTA's time-honored business model. Identify a significant need within the industry, assemble best practices for addressing that need, formulate a plan at the association level, and execute the plan industry-wide. If we use these skills to adapt to changes that are inevitable, we will survive and prosper in unity.